car features that shorten its lifespan. Many modern car features seem like an improvement until they start malfunctioning. And when they do, they don't just cost money. Some can also accelerate the wear and tear of expensive parts. In this video, I'm going to show you which features can shorten your car's lifespan and which ones you should reconsider before they cost you. Before we begin, one important point. Here, we need to make a very clear distinction. One thing is a feature that puts stress on mechanical or electrical components, and quite another is a feature that doesn't kill the engine but adds more modules, more sensors, more buttons, and more things that can fail. And that matters a lot, because if you lump the two together, you end up saying that everything modern is bad, and that's not true. AARP, for example, points out that certain advanced driver assistance systems can help prevent accidents, and that also protects the car's lifespan. Function 1, start and stop. If there's one function that really hits home here, it's start and stop. The idea behind the system sounds good. It shuts off the engine when stopped to save fuel and reduce emissions. The problem is that, according to OK Diario, several mechanics warn that intensive use can increase wear on parts like the auxiliary belt, starter motor, battery, and alternator. And this is where I'd bring it down to earth for the average driver. If you do a lot of city driving, with traffic lights, traffic, and constant stops, that repeated starting and stopping isn't without its drawbacks. It doesn't mean you're going to break your car tomorrow, but some parts can suffer more than usual. OK Diario even mentions situations where it's advisable to deactivate it, such as urban driving with frequent stops, after demanding journeys, during particulate filter regeneration, or in engines that vibrate a lot. Function 2. Driver assistance systems that don't damage the engine, but do add costly repairs. Here I would include several of the features from your experience: parking assist, extra cameras and sensors, driver assistance systems overloaded with modules, and parts of the comfort ecosystem that rely on sophisticated electronics. Do these features directly reduce engine life? Not necessarily. Can they make the car more delicate and more expensive over the years? Yes, absolutely. The logic is simple. More sensors, more calibrations, more modules, and more wiring mean more points of failure. And when one of those fails, we're rarely talking about a cheap repair. This idea fits very well with your point of view. They sell it to you as convenience, but over time it leaves you with bills. And yet, it's important to clarify. AARP points out that certain driver assistance systems do help prevent accidents. So the problem here isn't the existence of the technology, but how much it actually contributes compared to what it complicates the car. Function 3, keyless entry. Keyless entry fits perfectly into this category. It's not a feature that wears down the engine per se, but it is a convenience that adds electronic dependency, modules, antennas, batteries in the remote, and a higher replacement cost if it fails or if you lose the key fob. In your view, the practical side also comes into play here. More convenience, yes, but also more complexity and more frustration when something stops working. I would put it this way in a video: this feature doesn't kill the car, but it can make the car age worse in terms of reliability and cost of ownership. Function 4, voice recognition, steering wheel controls, and cluttered interfaces. Here, I wouldn't talk so much about mechanical lifespan as about technology that ages poorly. Steering wheel controls, voice assistants, and many modern car interfaces are sold as conveniences. But in the long run, they tend to bring two problems: more electronic components that are likely to fail, and more distraction while driving if they are poorly designed. Your experience fits perfectly here. Buttons that stop responding, controls that change function with updates, voice systems that understand everything except what you're saying, and an interior increasingly dependent on electronics for simple tasks. It's not that this will cause the engine to break down. It's that it makes the car more dependent on systems that, when they fail, will cost time, money, and patience. Function 5, ambient lighting and extras that only add complexity. Ambient lighting is another good example, not because it will reduce the motor's lifespan, but because it contributes very little to durability and does introduce LED strips, modules, dimmers, and extra electronics that will age like any other component. Your idea here works very well. It's sold as a luxury, but for many people it ends up being a distracting decoration, rarely used, and likely to fail over time. If you want a solid script, this section works better as features that don't extend lifespan and do add complexity. The real problem isn't a single function, it's the whole package. And here's the video's key point. Often, it's not just one function that shortens a car's lifespan. It's the sum of more electronics, more modules, more sensors, more software-dependent parts, and higher cumulative costs when they start failing outside of warranty. Meanwhile, the things that are very well established for extending a car's life remain the same as always. Regular maintenance, the correct oil and fuel, smooth driving, avoiding overloading, not damaging the suspension with potholes, and not making excessive short trips. So which features would worry me the most? If I had to summarize it for the video, I'd say those that can actually increase wear and tear, start and stop, especially due to the battery, alternator, starter motor, and auxiliary belt. Those that don't kill the car, but make it more expensive and less user-friendly. Keyless entry, parking assistance systems, voice recognition, steering wheel controls, ambient lighting, and any extras that add more modules and electronic dependencies without contributing much to durability. What truly extends a car's life more than any other feature, Pine. And this section is important because it prevents the video from becoming pure rant. What really matters most for a car's lifespan is still changing the oil and fluids on time, using the correct parts and fluids, driving smoothly, avoiding sudden acceleration, braking, and hitting potholes, not overloading the car, and paying attention to tire maintenance and wear. In other words, modern features can complicate things, yes, but bad habits complicate them even more. We'll answer some frequently asked questions. Does start and stop reduce the car's lifespan? It can increase wear and tear on certain components, especially with heavy city driving. The most commonly cited are the battery, starter motor, alternator, and auxiliary belt. Does more technology mean less reliability? Not always. Some technologies help prevent accidents or detect problems earlier, but more modules and more electronics also mean more points of failure and higher costs as they age. Which features should I disable if I want my car to last longer? The one with the clearest support in this regard is start and stop, especially in certain intensive use scenarios. With the others, rather than disabling them, the point is to understand if they actually contribute something or just add complexity. Does keyless entry damage the car? It doesn't directly damage the engine or transmission, but it can add complexity, electronic dependency, and higher replacement costs. Does ambient lighting reduce the car's lifespan? Not in a mechanical sense, but it does add electrical components and modules that don't contribute to durability and can fail over time. What matters more for a car's longevity, features or maintenance? Maintenance and driving habits still matter much more. Using the right oil, driving smoothly, avoiding overloading, and keeping an eye on tires, suspension, and fluids remain key. In short, not all modern features break your car, but some do accelerate wear and tear, and others simply make it more expensive, more delicate, and more complicated to maintain. Now I want to hear from you. Which modern feature do you think offers the least value and fails most often? Or is there one you always disable because you feel it puts too much strain on the car? Let me know in the comments.
Without further ado, I hope this video has been useful to you and you can solve your problem. See you in a next video. Bye-bye.